Today I want to talk about some 8bitdo products. And no, I'm not getting paid for this. They're not sponsoring me. Paid my own money for all of these controllers. These are possibly the best controllers I've ever used. The SN30 Pro, the SN30 Pro Plus, and the arcade stick for Switch/Windows. All three of these controllers can be connected via USB-C or through Bluetooth, and the joystick can also be connected via 2.4 GHz signal with a USB dongle that comes with the joystick. The SN30 Pro is, in my opinion, the best controller that is currently available to play 2D games. 2D games were simply not meant to be played with a stick. It looks and feels exactly like a Super Nintendo controller, only they've added some analog sticks. And yeah, the analog sticks work fine, but I don't use them much. My only real complaint with this controller is the way that the LNR and LNR2 buttons are split. They're both very tiny, though the triggers do have a slight amount of pull on them. Not very much, though. It takes a little getting used to, but generally for 2D games, you're not making a lot of use of those buttons. It retails for $44.99 and is well worth that price. I own several of these. The SN30 Pro Plus is slightly more expensive at $49.99, and it is a more modern controller for more modern games. You'll notice it borrows the layout of a PlayStation controller with the D-pad in the main position, which is my personal preference. Unlike its little brother, you'll notice it has more standard R and L buttons, has wonderful rumble, and motion controls that work as well as motion controls ever work. The triggers are adjustable to a certain extent. This is my default controller for the Switch and also for Steam. Lastly, we have the arcade stick for Switch and Windows, retailing at a price of $89.99. Now, this one can be connected through USB or Bluetooth, but also has the option of 2.4 GHz via a USB dongle, which is included. This stick is made to be easily modded to put your own switches and buttons in if you so desire, though the switches and buttons that come with it are very fine already. By default, it can be set in either Switch button layout or Xbox button layout for Windows, but can also be completely customized for whatever layout you want. Interestingly, you can have the joystick correspond to the D-pad or to either the right or left stick on a modern controller. It is quite heavy and will not move around if placed on a flat surface. And you don't need a joystick for every game, obviously. But you know, for old arcade games or almost any fighting game, doesn't get much better than this. This is definitely a luxury item that not everyone needs. But if you like arcade games, like old arcade games, you buy a lot of those bundles. This is special. And I've used a lot of joysticks in my day, but I think this might be the best one I've ever used. And honestly, for only about $90, that's not too expensive for an arcade stick. There is only one negative I could think of that is universal to all three of these. In the case of using the Switch, none of these will wake your Switch up from sleep. So when using them, I have to keep another controller nearby to turn the Switch on, and then, go and change controller order, and that's a minor thing. It is annoying, but it's hardly a deal breaker. So, overall, I find these products to all be of high quality and incredibly good to use. Thank you for listening, and like and subscribe.